all this year been working in the industry. I've been traveling in many countries in my life. I've been meeting people that I never thought to meet or to see. As a fashion influencer, I worked in many other fashion shows, during the 90s, the major designers. What I love about my job is that the diversity, the way that we meet people, and also the way that we can create looks. You know exactly how to make someone beautiful and to feel also satisfied for what you do. My name is Renato Campora. I'm a hairstylist, a celebrity stylist. I'm also fashion hairstylist. Everyone in my family is a hairdresser. So from my dad, my uncle, my older brother Gio, all my cousins are hairdressers in Sicily. Literally everyone in our family is a hairdresser. I know every time that we go in summer in Sicily, and we have a table of all of us sitting together talking about who is the best hairdresser. I grew up seeing my dad work in a salon, his barbershop. When I was around 12 years old, I was watching the TV at that time. I remember in 1980s, it was a very difficult moment in Sicily. News about mafia, so it was a bit scary to be around on the street. Instead to play outside on the street, so I always hear my mom, "You're gonna be a hairdresser." Being young, even though I couldn't do anything, but you sweat, you do shampoo, you're doing go get some coffee, you do anything for the client. At the age of 14, I already started moving to colors, perms. The owner of the salon, they wanted to do some photo shoot with models. So he asked me, "Can you come over and do some stylist?" So I felt that I was free to push myself a little bit more. My older brother Gio, he moved to Paris for this hairstylist called Jean-Louis David, which he was a huge, at the time, I guess I would say was the best hairdresser. He helped me to work in one of the salon while I was learning the language. So I was really into a moment in my career, not learning the hairstyling, but I was learning a life, learning a language that I didn't know. When I discovered the work behind the magazine, the hairstyling, doing hair photography, I was like, what is that? It was completely new to me. I was start looking all the magazine to learn all this hairdresser that I didn't know before. And at that time it was Jean-Louis David, Valentine, it was Julien this and Yannick this. I reached out to Guillaume Berard from Mozart and I say, "Hey, do you need an assistant? I will work for free." He said, "Oh, why don't you come to the studio early tomorrow morning?" So I went there at the studio, and the first time that I entered into the makeup room, in the chair was sitting Claudia Schiffer. I was like, "Oh my God, I've seen this girl before." It was unbelievable how to see behind the scene during the photo shoot and how he was going to brush the hair and how to touch up the hair on set. Since it's not a salon, it's a location, you don't have the same tools as well. So from the tools and the techniques, it was to learn how to restyle again. I would say Julien and Yannick, this at that time, they were the new upcoming hairdresser. Once we actually met Yannick this for the first time, we bonded, and that's how we end up on doing this first show for John Galliano with Julien and Yannick. That was my first fashion show, and that was one of the memories that I can never forget. New York, it was the best city in the world. I remember all the photographers and models that were living in New York. It was inspiring, but also it was very challenging at that time in New York. I wanted to try what it was the American dream. I remember the first client, it was Liv Tyler. We did this photo shoot for a magazine and the photography was David LaChapelle, and she was asking me, "Oh, can you do my hair for my press, Lord of the Ring?" I say, "What? Lord of the Ring? I don't do press." I didn't know what it really was, We started creating looks for Lord of the Ring, for the premieres. So once I started doing a celebrity in New York, Los Angeles was calling me. So I committed in 2006. And since then I haven't left. New York, LA has been my two homes. I remember in the 90s when we started doing the fashion shows, we were using real dry shampoo from the pharmacy. We were using sugar in the hair. We were using beer to create looks because at that time they didn't have the right product. Today, the product that we have, they are much more advanced. And thank God, I realized that products are very important to achieve the looks that I want to achieve. Kenra products are actually, for me, one of the best products out there, I push myself not to be the best hairstylist. I push myself because I like to do it. I like to challenge myself. And that's what it makes me who I am today, to find things that I didn't know before. Also, I like the fact that people get inspired of what I do. And that makes me happy. That makes me a strong feeling about what I've been achieving during all of these years, being away from home. My future is now. I'm living my future right now. I wanted to enjoy my life. I wanted to be with the people that I love to be. And my future is my kids. It's not only money and business, it's more being a real father. So my advice that I give to all the young hairdressers that are out there is to believe in what you do. Secondly, to be passionate in what you do. The third is to find your way to be who you are, and we need to make mistakes. You need to learn by doing mistakes. You need to understand what you will make better doing this way and not this way. So you need to judge everything that you do by yourself in order to have an identity and not try to be someone else that you're not. And when you learn, nobody else can take it away from your hands.